The disappearance of Gabby Petito. She was beautiful, adventurous, and in love. Her Instagram was full of perfect moments, smiling selfies, road trips, sunsets, hikes, and van life snapshots. But behind those curated images was something darker. And by the time the internet noticed, it was already too late. This is a heartbreaking story of Gabby Petito, the influencer who vanished in plain sight, and the fiancé who tried to cover it up. Gabrielle, Gabby Petito was born in 1999 in Blue Point, New York. She was creative, friendly, and loved travel. In 2019, she started dating Brian Laundrie, a quiet, artistic young man from Northport, Florida. The couple quickly became inseparable. They moved in together and shared a love for nature, minimalism, and social media. When the pandemic hit in 2020, Gabby started planning a dream, converting a white 2012 Ford Transit van into a mobile home and documenting their travels across America. By mid-2021, the couple had launched a YouTube channel called Nomadic Static and began posting about their van life journey. Gabby quit her job to focus full-time on content creation. Brian, meanwhile, appeared more private, often behind the camera, rarely engaging with followers. But their life on the road wasn't as picture-perfect as their feeds suggested. In July 2021, they set out from New York for a cross-country road trip. Their plan was to visit national parks in Colorado, Utah, and Wyoming, camping, hiking, and filming along the way. Gabby posted frequently on Instagram, smiling by canyons, cooking in the van, journaling, doing yoga. But beneath the surface, cracks were forming. On August 12, 2021, police in Moab, Utah, responded to a 911 call. A witness had seen a man and a woman in a heated altercation near a grocery store. The woman, later confirmed to be Gabby, was seen slapping the man and being physically restrained. Body cam footage from the responding officers painted a complicated picture. Gabby was emotional, crying, and apologetic. Brian was calm, collected, and tried to minimize the situation. Gabby told officers she was struggling with anxiety and that they'd been fighting all morning. She blamed herself. Brian had scratches on his face. The police separated them for the night. Gabby kept the van. Brian stayed at a hotel. No charges were filed. The officers said they saw no signs of domestic assault, a decision that would later come under intense public scrutiny. Over the next 2 weeks, Gabby's social media presence grew quiet. Her last Instagram post was on August 25th, taken in front of a mural in Ogden, Utah. That same day, she called her family and said they were heading to Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming. Then silence. Her phone stopped working. Her texts became vague, and eventually, there were no updates at all. On September 1st, Brian Laundrie returned to Florida, driving the white van alone. No Gabby, no explanation. He didn't contact her family. He didn't report her missing. He simply showed up at his parents' home and said nothing. Gabby's family began to panic. Calls and texts went unanswered. Her mom, Nicole Schmidt, reported her missing on September 11th. By then, Gabby had been missing for nearly 3 weeks. The case exploded into the public eye. News outlets across the country covered the story. Social media detectives began tracking the couple's van, analyzing Instagram posts, YouTube videos, and even satellite images from national parks. Internet sleuths became obsessed, combing through every frame of footage to find clues. As pressure mounted, Brian refused to speak to authorities. His family released a brief statement saying they hoped Gabby would be found, but refused to cooperate beyond that. Just days later, on September 17th, Brian Laundrie was reported missing by his parents. They claimed he had gone hiking in Carlton Reserve, a vast, swampy wilderness in Florida, and never returned. The search for Gabby intensified. Then, on September 19th, in a remote area of Bridger Teton National Forest in Wyoming, investigators found human remains near a campsite where the couple had reportedly stayed. The remains were confirmed to be Gabby Petito. The cause of death, homicide by manual strangulation. She had been killed weeks earlier. The nation mourned. Candlelight vigils were held. Her face became a symbol of lost innocence. But the story wasn't over. Brian was now the sole suspect in her murder and missing. A federal arrest was issued, not for the murder, but for fraudulent use of Gabby's bank card after her death. The manhunt that followed became one of the most watched in recent U.S. history. As weeks passed, sightings poured in from all over North Carolina, the Appalachian Trail, Mexico. But none were confirmed. Police, FBI agents, and volunteers searched the Carlton Reserve relentlessly, battling heat, wildlife, and flooding. Then, on October 20th, 2021, investigators discovered skeletal remains in the reserve, along with a dry bag, notebook, and backpack. Dental records confirmed the remains belonged to Brian Laundrie. An autopsy determined he died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. He had taken his own life in the swamp, sometime shortly after returning home. The notebook found nearby contained a confession. In it, Brian admitted to killing Gabby, claiming it was a mercy after she had suffered a fall. Authorities later called this a false narrative, an attempt to soften or excuse the murder. The FBI closed the case, stating they had no doubt Brian had killed Gabby Petito. Gabby's parents were left with grief and rage. They accused the Laundrie family of protecting their son and delaying justice. In a civil lawsuit filed in 2022, they alleged that Brian's parents knew Gabby was dead long before she was found. That they helped him avoid capture. That they said nothing while the world searched. The Laundrie family denied the allegations, but public opinion turned harsh. Protesters camped outside their home for months. In the aftermath, Gabby's family launched the Gabby Petito Foundation, dedicated to helping victims of domestic violence and missing persons cases. They spoke out about warning signs, emotional manipulation, and law enforcement accountability. The officers in Moab who stopped the couple on August 12th were later investigated for handling the domestic violence call. Internal reviews found multiple policy violations. Experts argue that Gabby showed clear signs of being a victim, and that the officers failed to act appropriately. The city later issued a formal apology. Gabby's story also ignited a broader conversation online. People asked, why did this case get so much attention, while so many other missing women, especially women of color, go ignored? The term missing white woman syndrome reemerged in headlines, prompting media and law enforcement to reevaluate their priorities. But still, for many, Gabby's story stuck. She was young, relatable, and her disappearance played out in real time. People had watched her vlogs, seen her Instagram stories. She felt familiar, and that made the tragedy hit harder. Gabby's memorial is covered in photos, flowers, and messages from strangers. Her van was recovered, preserved as evidence. Her name lives on through the foundation. But her life, vibrant and full of promise, was cut short by the person she trusted most. Her last social media caption read simply, "Happy Halloween." It was posted August 25th, weeks before she was found dead. What started as a road trip across America ended with headlines, and a lesson in how little we often see behind a smiling photo. Sometimes the most dangerous place a woman can be is with a man who says he loves her. If this story moves you, please take a moment to comment, and subscribe to True Crime Uncovered. We uncover the truth behind the timeline, because every case deserves to be told.